भाई शाम के 5 बज चुके हैं, लेकिन सुबह शाम मेरे मन में यही सवाल है भाई, रोहित शर्मा विराट कोहली की वापसी का क्या है मतलब। इट्स डिलाइटिंग फॉर द फैंस, इनके जो इतने सारे एडमायरर्स वगैरह है रोहित और कोहली के, लेकिन फॉलो द ब्लूज पे हम बात करने वाले हैं कि इससे हम क्या क्या कंक्लूजन्स ड्रॉ कर सकते हैं और टीम में ने इस फैसले को लेकर हमें क्या बताया है अबाउट द यंग प्लेयर्स दे वर ट्राइंग, एज वेल एज व्हाट वर द रीजंस फॉर रोहित शर्मा टू रिटर्न मेनली एज कैप्टन। तो शाम के 5 बज चुके, सीनियर प्लेयर्स वापस आ चुके हैं टीम में और हमारे साथ जुड़ेंगे सीनियर क्रिकेट इन्फो जर्नलिस्ट नागराज घोलापुड़ी। सीनियर्स का ही समय है नागराज, वी डोंट वांट अ अप एंड कमिंग यंग रिपोर्टर, वी वांट अ सीनियर रिपोर्टर, वी वांट अ सीनियर जर्नलिस्ट, someone with experience who handles the big stage. All we need is that his fitness has to be intact. So your fitness is intact, right?
वेरी गुड, अच्छा है, मेरा कोर तो अच्छा है।
Okay, in all seriousness, in all seriousness, एक बार स्क्वाड देख लेते हैं, ठीक है? Because I want you to tell me the fact that selectors ने एक बार फिर रोहित और कोहली की तरफ देखा है for the shortest format. Rohit will be captain. That is a discussion we're going to have कि was it so important to consider कि भाई कौन करेगी कप्तानी इस टीम की। तो in that aspect it looks like Rohit Sharma was certainly the most viable option, क्योंकि हार्दिक पांड्या इंजर्ड है, सूर्य कुमार यादव इंजर्ड है, जसप्रीत बुमराह का वर्कलोड मैनेज करना है, जडेजा का वर्कलोड मैनेज करना है, एंड इट मींस कि शुभमन और यशस्वी में से एक या फिर तिलक और रिंकू में से शायद एक या दो, दोनों ही मिस कर जाएंगे इन द T20 वर्ल्ड कप स्क्वाड। Let's talk about those young players, जायसवाल, शुभमन, तिलक, रिंकू, क्योंकि पिछले 1-2 साल से नागा, ever since the 2022 T20 World Cup, it looked like the selectors had wanted to use all the T20 cricket जो नए नए खिलाड़ी है उनको मौका देने के लिए, and we saw Tilak, we seen Rinku. To go back to Rohit and Kohli, if I can call it that, does it tell us that they weren't happy about what Jaiswal, what Rinku or what Tilak had done, or do they simply say कि नहीं, ये players तो अब भी इतना अच्छा खेल रहे हैं, they are still our best chance to win a World Cup ahead of what will be a full top 5 of pretty much young and inexperienced players other than Surya?
I think if you look at it, that they post 2022 World Cup, they did identify that they needed to play a dynamic brand of T20 cricket, and the best way to go about doing that is test with certain young players who have shown promise in IPL, from the names that you've named: Gill, Jaiswal, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Rinku Singh in the last 2 years, and Tilak Verma also in the last 2 years. So these are the guys who have been tried predominantly across the T20 series India have played in the last 2 years. And I wouldn't say that any of them has hurt their case, or they have shown that the talent and the skills in high pressure situations, also in different pitches and different conditions, they have shown that. Now, so I guess what happens is in the but now what does that mean then? Bringing back Rohit and Kohli. The thing is, I guess experience is something that I guess the team management and the selectors felt you would need still, based on having watched these youngsters. And some of them are carrying injuries. So that is an important part, injuries. Now, Ruturaj Gaikwad, for example, has been opening. He has scored a century also. Correct me if I'm wrong, in T20Is. And so he would have been a backup opener or one of the top 3 openers to play ideally, but he's injured right now. So, and he's been injured more than once. Similarly, you have Hardik injured. Hardik was meant to be the captain. He's injured. We don't know when Hardik is coming back. We still don't know exactly whether it would be IPL, what part of IPL, whether it would be from the start of the IPL. I think, as you would have gathered yourself, that captaincy is the most important thing they would have thought about. And so if Hardik is not going to be with the team for another 3-4 months, it's best to have somebody who has already been there and has led India more successfully.
Yeah. That is a good point you make, क्योंकि हम व्यूअर्स को एक बार फिर बता दें कि ODI वर्ल्ड कप के बाद ही रियलिस्टिकली शिफ्ट या फिर फोकस शिफ्ट हुआ टुवर्ड्स T20 क्रिकेट, जब ऑस्ट्रेलिया के खिलाफ 5 मैच की सीरीज थी, फिर साउथ अफ्रीका में 3 मैच की सीरीज थी, और अब आगे जाके अफगानिस्तान के खिलाफ घर में सीरीज होने जा रही है। एंड आई थिंक द इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग हियर इज, वर्ल्ड कप के बाद विद द काइंड ऑफ वर्ल्ड कप इंडिया हैड, इतने सीनियर प्लेयर्स को रेस्ट दिया गया। हार्दिक पांड्या खुद इंजर्ड थे। अगर हार्दिक पांड्या पूरी तरह फिट होते और इन 8 मैच में लगातार टीम की कप्तानी करते, क्या इतना बड़ा सवाल उठता कि हमें भाई अनुभवी कप्तान चाहिए, क्योंकि अब भी शायद सिलेक्टर्स यही सोचते हैं कि हार्दिक पांड्या की इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट की कप्तानी इज स्टिल नॉट प्रूवन. Now that's the question to answer, Nagaraj. Or rather, why was it so important for the selectors to say कि we want an experienced captain? Normally, कितने सारे experienced cricketers कहते हैं पहले अपनी best squad चुनिए, फिर उसके बाद किसी को कप्तान बनाइए. But here it almost seems like they wanted to first touch upon who will lead this team. Surya bhi injured hai, Hardik bhi injured hai. We have to have an experienced leader. Do you think that was required, or could they not have just picked a team and said, okay, even if Hardik is injured, Bumrah ko de sakte hai kaptani if Surya is not there, or another experienced player like Jadeja could captain, or even if it meant Gaikwad जिन्होंने stop gap teams के लिए या फिर reserve teams के लिए Asian Games में कप्तानी की. Is it so important that India send an experienced captain to this T20 World Cup?
Yeah, because that provides that clarity. You already have a leader who's capable, who's shown, who has the respect. You can't just, okay, all these names you've named from Bumrah to Surya. Okay, Surya has led India in the last 2 or 3 series since the World Cup, ODI World Cup. So he could have been there, but he's injured again. So what do you do then? You need somebody who will immediately slot in and kind of get that clarity to the role of the roles of what brand of cricket we want to play, who can easily get players to do things. And I guess Rohit is there, he's available. They didn't need to. I think people might be confused also why these guys are coming back is because of that break or whatever however you describe it. These two guys, the two senior players, Rohit and Kohli, having not played since 22 World Cup, everyone assumed that it's over, it's the end of the road for them. But that was never told by selectors. And the players themselves never said that. The players themselves kept saying that they are playing, they are enjoying playing their T20 cricket whenever you ask them.
Point.
So.
Yep.
I guess that's where the people are thinking, oh, where did they go back? Including us, media, definitely. I guess you agree with that, this line of thinking?
So the thing is that I understand it. Whether I agree with, I'll tell you if I agree with it or not. Because focus clearly from the team was ODI cricket and the occasional Test cricket and WTC final. So you are managing player workloads for 2 players who are in excess of 33, 34 now. So you're right. Kohli और रोहित की तरफ से कभी नहीं कहा गया कि हाँ हमें T20 क्रिकेट नहीं खेलना है, और सिलेक्टर्स की तरफ से भी डायरेक्टली तो ये कभी नहीं कहा गया कि वी मूव्ड ऑन फ्रॉम देम. बट दैट्स अ रियली ट्रिकी थिंग इन इंडियन क्रिकेट, स्पेशली फॉर योर सीनियर प्लेयर्स. द अदर थिंग इज, मैंने एक बार देखा था कि सोशल मीडिया पे हवा चल रही थी कि नहीं सीनियर प्लेयर्स को ही हट जाना चाहिए अपने आप ही, लाइक हाउ तेंदुलकर डिडंट वांट टू प्ले इन द 2007 वर्ल्ड कप. आई थिंक दैट वाज अ वेरी डिफरेंट टाइम. इफ एवरीवन न्यू व्हाट T20 cricket would become, this is the highest form of cricket now, right? Maybe you and me are purists and we think Test cricket is still the highest, but that's not the reality of cricket. मैं तो सही मायने में मानता हूँ कि IPL and therefore T20I cricket is the most important format for the modern day player, and these two players are still good enough. तो ये हमें हमेशा याद रखना चाहिए कि they feel they are good enough and the selectors do. Now सवाल सिर्फ इतना है कि are they as good as T20 players as they are ODI players? क्योंकि रोहित शर्मा की IPL की अगर हम बात करें पिछले 3 सालों में, and this is a general trend, he is one of the most successful IPL captains, इस पे कोई डिबेट नहीं हो सकता है, along with MS धोनी. लेकिन पिछले 3 सीजन्स में the highest that he managed aggregate wise is 332, 332 रन, और स्ट्राइक रेट जो सही मायने में हमें बताता है कि खिलाड़ी किस तरह की T20 क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं, मोर देन एवरेज, और कलेक्टिव रन स्ट्राइक रेट जो है 132 के आसपास, which is okay, but it's still not what you want from a top order batter in the IPL, क्योंकि 140 का स्ट्राइक रेट हम मानते हैं कि एक्सप्लोसिव स्ट्राइक रेट, इंपैक्टफुल स्ट्राइक रेट होता है. सूर्य कुमार यादव भी 150 के स्ट्राइक रेट से ज्यादा पे खेलते हैं इन एन IPL, and he bats very often outside the power play. We have said that शायद रोहित शर्मा की ODI वर्ल्ड कप को देख के अब लग रहा है कि he play a different game. So is it about the same guys just playing with a different approach? क्योंकि सवाल खिलाड़ी पे थे in the last few World Cups या अप्रोच पे थे, and can we feel confident कि इस IPL में रोहित शर्मा will be the 140-150 strike rate player with at least 350-400 runs, like the kind of impact he had in the ODI World Cup, but just tailored to T20 cricket?
But I mean, I pointed out yesterday also on our show that I don't think it is wrong to compare ODI cricket with T20 cricket. Okay, fine. The approach could be, you could talk about the approach, but then Rohit is getting 10 overs. Here in T20s, you're getting just 6 overs. In fact, the numbers that you pointed out are the overall numbers. I wanted to just kind of understand whether Rohit has improved in his power play. That's where he opens, right? Predominantly, he opens. Since 2019, I checked year by year power play numbers. Allow me to digress a little. Quickly, I'll read out. 2019, his strike rate in power play was 129. 2020 115, 2021 130, 2022 124, 2023 130, and the corresponding figure for 2023 in the middle overs for Rohit is 142. So clearly he has understood himself and he has been trying, maybe not as convincingly as he would have liked, but his numbers have improved year on year in the power play as well as slightly in the middle overs. Last year, whenever the little he batted in the middle overs, we are talking about from 7 to 10 or that bracket, his strike rate has been very strong. So I think Rohit clearly knows, and he will take that ODI World Cup form into this T20s again, and you would hope that he would want to have good IPL going into the T20 World Cup. So I think Rohit, the T20 opener, is pretty strong.
Yeah, and I think it's important he has a strong season here. Because if he gets runs in the IPL, I don't think any of us are going to go like, it's amazing, because we expect that. But if he does poorly in the IPL, then suddenly that would be something that would really create some doubt in the team, in the selectors. Yes.
And I think that the manner in which he gets those runs, right? He has Jaiswal at the other end. Let's say if he opens with Gill, it's a different thing. Then maybe Rohit takes the aggressor role. Let's assume that Gill is the other option for the opening. Then Rohit takes the aggressor role because we know that Gill also likes to play drop anchor for a bit and then opens up. So it's this is very important that he's coming after a period of 18 months or something back into the T20 team, and it is very important that what is the kind of what is the style of play that Rohit wants to play, and that will dictate a lot about how his partners as well as
absolutely
the rest of the top order plays.
And that's the thing right now, right? Whether you agree with the decision or not, which side you're in, I don't think you can say either way that if Rohit and Kohli actually play with the approach hum keh rahe, aggressive andaz se dominate karke, which they certainly have shown they're good enough to, that they may still end up being, one of the tough calls, even though we may think the tough call is to leave them out, but sometimes the tougher call perhaps is to persist with them for one more World Cup. क्योंकि रोहित पे ये सवाल है कि T20 में वो इस तरह की प्रदर्शन नहीं दिखाते जिस तरह ओडीआई में दिखाते. विराट कोहली पे सवाल ये है कि शुरुआत तो बहुत अच्छी करते हैं और आईपीएल में हमेशा से ही रन बने ही है विराट कोहली के, लेकिन does he manage to dominate spin, which is going to be a big player, you think, in a World Cup in the West Indies? मैं आपको याद दिला दूं कि सुपर 8 के जो मुकाबले वेस्ट इंडीज वर्ल्ड कप में वो सारे कैरेबियन में खेले जाएंगे, और आईपीएल 2023 में जो विराट कोहली का प्रदर्शन रहा, it was excellent. He was striking at 140, and again you have to keep an eye out on how he played spin, where there was a marked improvement. दूसरी तरफ रोल क्लैरिटी की भी बात करें तो फाफ टू प्लसी के इर्द गिर्द, ग्लेन मैक्सवेल के इर्द गिर्द खेलते हैं आईपीएल में. सो इफ ही प्लेज with Rohit Jaiswal to come before him and Surya to come after him, it's very important for Kohli to play exactly that role, that 140 plus role. Do you sense that there is still a question about how he'll play spin, Nagaraj, or has he gotten better at it? Because ODI cricket में तो समय होता है, you can see out the spin, and Rohit Sharma used to put the game so far in front in the ODI World Cup. Has he gotten better, and will that be a challenge, or do you see him now with the way he's playing actually not have an issue with this at all?
I'm sorry, I can't answer that question of the best batter in the modern generation. Not
oh my God, you're right. That is the answer to give. That is the answer to give.
Yeah, but I'm not being diplomatic, but it's clearly he can play spin and all kinds of bowling. Everyone has a certain kind of weakness, and the best players have all that. So we can't debate about Kohli's batting skills against spin, but T20 batting skills against spin. But I think it's the role again. It's do India believe? And I think possibly reading from outside, I think that they still believe that there is a role for an anchor, that somebody who will kind of balance India's. We were talking about yesterday, India don't have that kind of quite a strong lower order, so they would want a top order batter who people bat around, and I think they believe that Kohli can do that. He has done that at RCB, where it's a different role. He opens. But at also RCB also last year, people should consider this, that they didn't have their good middle order. They didn't have Rajat Patidar who was there. So Kohli had to bat differently. He had to bat deep again for certain reasons, and Maxwell. So those are kind of factors that people have to consider before kind of drawing conclusions on. So I think if Kohli drops anchor, but at the same time, the key question again is, can India give maximum time to a batter like Surya and Hardik? Because those are the two guys, the power hitters. Those are the guys they will need certain time. And if within, I mean, Surya has shown in that series recently, which was held in South Africa, where he scored the century. He can easily change the match in a matter of 5-10 balls. But if he hits a century, imagine coming after over number 10, it's incredible. So, and for that, he would need a good partnership. And then that's why possibly have someone like a senior player like Kohli in those kind of conditions.
Yeah. That's a good point. We have to look at all the other factors here. Maybe individually you think, is Virat Kohli the type of number 3 you want in your T20I side or no? Lekin, no matter which bunch of batters India goes with, there is almost certainty here that their batting will still finish at 7 with the kind of team this team plays, unless they radically change their balance. So if you're only going to play with a Jadeja at 7 or a Hardik at 6 and Jadeja at 7, or aapke 4 jo 8 to 11 hai, they're still going to be your best bowlers who are not going to contribute with the bat. Your batting depth is still an issue, and therefore what kind of number 3 do you want? क्या आपको वहाँ पे शुभमन गिल चाहिए या ऋतुराज गायकवाड़ चाहिए या just a bunch of young players? So I think it's an important point to understand कि एक player की जगह role can't only be seen by what he has been doing, but what kind of team is he playing in. But for Shubman Gill, जिन्होंने IPL Orange Cap जीता, जो कमाल का प्रदर्शन इनका रहा, we thought this is the guy now in red hot form. Nearly 900 runs. Naga, at one point we were wondering, will he break Kohli's record of 2016? Strike rate as an opener in excess of 157, including 300s 2023 के IPL में. ये हम मतलब अंदाजा भी नहीं लगा सकते थे उस टाइम पे कि ये खिलाड़ी शायद इंडिया के बेस्ट 11 में होगा ही नहीं in the T20 World Cup. Is there a place for him outside of that, or will he have to compete with Jaiswal for the opening spot? He can't compete with the captain, you would think, if the captain is going to play. And can we just accept that Shubman has to be a reserve batter?
But firstly, we have to know that whether he is part of the 15, right? I mean, it's there's KL Rahul. Both of them have good IPLs. What do you do? Like, both of them will be fighting for the same backup opener or number. I mean, one of them will be opening, right, along with as a backup opener or not. These will be the two openers. One is Jaiswal and one is what's his name, KL or Gill. So if Gill is your nominated second guy, he can only open or play number 3. So again, then Kohli has to sit, because unless they decide that, because sending Kohli down the order disrupts everything else. Or do they want to send Kohli at 4? So I don't know. I mean, I was working out the batting order, and I can't see where other than number 1 or 3 Shubman can bat if he's in part of the 11. So I don't have, seriously, I can't even figure, and that would disrupt again. In case you're playing number 3 Gill, number 4 Kohli, then you're sending Surya.
No, I mean, Surya has to bat at the top, right? You don't want Surya in the middle order, so you don't want Surya anywhere lower than 4. There's a strong case to say that Surya is your best number 3, but शायद Kohli की अगर Kohli team में रहेंगे, then Surya is
one position we have not discussed is
that's the lowest. Batter. Correct, but I guess we've got to bank it. We've got to bank it, right? Whoever it is, it's either Jitesh or Samson or KL Rahul if they go outside, or Kishan. But none of those guys are fit breaking into the top 4 as things stand. वो आएंगे तो 5 पे ही खेलेंगे, and therefore you have to just see only one of Jaiswal and Gill playing. And because I know the team wants to commit to left-handers, Jaiswal will be given preference ahead of Gill. So anyway, let me simply leave you with all these thoughts. आप अपनी राय हमें बताइए. You can send us your thoughts with #FollowTheBlues on our social handles. Put it in the comments here, and we will keep this debate going. जाते जाते तो बस आपको याद दिला दूं कि 5 बजे तो Follow the Blues live होगा ही रोज, where we'll have enough to think about. Nagaraj, you also take some rest and sleep over this. Keep sleeping over this. Keep talking to the important people in Indian cricket. I will also do the same, and we will get senior cricket journalist Nagaraj Golapudi back very soon on Follow the Blues live. जाते जाते मैं एक और एकदम, you know how these pearls of wisdom I'm leaving. I just saw Gill's numbers and I'm like, yaar, how can you not pick a player who's got 890 and all? But it's simple. You can't just have a great IPL. You have to have a great IPL at the right time, in the right year. Have it now, then make the team. Nagaraj, give me an applause, man. Give me an applause. What a guy. I have to seek my own applause in my audience of one. Chal Nagraj. Bye. And thank you all for
Bye.
watching Follow the Blues. We will see you tomorrow.